everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk quickly about House of the Dragon and whether its second season will be able to match the high standards set by season 1. Now there may be spoilers throughout this video for the first season, so just beware when going into this discussion. Now for anybody who doesn't know, House of the Dragon was the prequel series to Game of Thrones, which of course was HBO's massive adaptation of the set of fantasy novels titled The Song of Ice and Fire, created by George R.R. Martin. Running for 8 seasons from 2010 to 2019, the show remains certainly one of the most culturally successful series within recent times, as we saw multiple factions doing constant battle to gain rulership over the 7 kingdoms within Westeros. Now, House of the Dragon story takes place around 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, with the 7 kingdoms being ruled by the Targaryen dynasty. Under the rule of King Viserys, the story spanned multiple decades, showing the beginning of the decline of the dynasty, as once more we had multiple individuals striving to gain the rule of the Iron Throne. Now, the season 1 gained so much praise from critics and audiences for its production values, its acting, its visual scope and cinematography, and personally for me it was a season that surpassed all expectations, which to be fair were very much neutered following the very controversial and divisive final season of Game of Thrones. Despite some minor flaws and issues with the finale, I overall felt that the first season of House of the Dragon was absolutely outstanding, and it was without question the best show of 2022. And at the end of that season 1 finale, we saw Prince Aegon ascending to the throne after Viserys passing away, and the potential battle lines were being drawn after Queen Rhaenyra now and her son Lucerys was killed after being pursued by Aemond via riding the dragons, and Rhaenyra was left devastated and looked finally convinced to go to war against Alicent. Now the second season is due to debut on June 16th, 2024, this time consisting of 8 episodes as opposed to the 10 from last year. And after all of the hype and certainly the great critical reception, will we see a further continuation of the great form that was set by season 1? And could House of the Dragon go on to be equally as successful as Game of Thrones? Well, after seeing the 2 trailers that were released recently, it definitely looks that way. From everything I saw within the 2 trailers, all point to the same scale, cinematography, vision and poise and sophistication that we got before, giving us once more that epic adult fantasy series. Now the producers did some clever marketing here by releasing 2 trailers titled Black and Green, centering of course on the show's most 2 integral characters being Rhaenyra and also Alicent Hightower. The colours themselves relating to the clothes worn by the 2 competing factions, so Rhaenyra's side are all dressed in red and black, and we have Alicent's all dressed in green. And to be honest, the 2 trailers really could have been put together for one, and you could probably find a quick edit on YouTube where they're both put together, but it was cool to play on the 2 perspectives of the central characters. Now when looking over the 2 trailers, one of the biggest dynamics will be to see how exactly King Aegon copes on the throne. If you remember, he was announced as king when Alicent misinterpreted Viserys' dream in his final moments. She felt that he was predicting that Aegon will be able to sit on the throne and rule the kingdom. And from all of the scenes that we see, it certainly seems that he'll be every bit as despicable and as likeable as the majority of the Targaryen kids, who are all growing up now. Again, I haven't read the book, so it will be interesting from my perspective and a lot of people's to see how long he exactly lasts on the throne. And I'm sure we're all looking forward to certainly the preempted confrontation between Daemon and Aemond, who is clearly far more intense and ambitious and very menacing, as we see with that eye patch. And in terms of Daemon, he definitely changed from being the psychotic loose cannon and what he was in the early couple of episodes. Again, this was due to the various time span that we crossed over season 1. If you remember, in the later episodes we saw him married and having a couple of kids before losing his wife. And then of course we had the very controversial passage of play where he made love to Rhaenyra and they 2 ended up being married together in a relationship. Still very unsettling, but this incestual type of relationship is what comes to the territory when dealing with the Targaryens. How much will the war itself affect Alicent's personality? If you remember, she was very much the frail, softened personality to begin with, and then over the course of season 1 we saw her become, if not hardened, then certainly more underhanded, as she realised that she had to do certain things and adopt certain tactics behind the scenes in order to preserve her position. We did have that one moment in the trailer where I think we see Alicent dressed in some sort of knight's armour, pointing a sword at soldiers. So what exactly will this mean? Does she go undercover. She ventures outside to do something. How far will she go to protect her children and make sure that Aegon remains on the throne as much as possible? Again, very fascinating stuff to see. And once more, all of the visual shots of the dragons were absolutely fantastic, whether we see them during the daylight or in the rainfall. All convincing, all great. And it certainly seems that we will get even more expansive battle sequences once more. Again, this is much more in keeping with the entire franchise itself. So there are so many interesting dynamics to look forward to here. And we do have to remember that it was confirmed a while back by the showrunners that we won't get the huge time jumps this season than what we got with season 1, which had both its benefits and downsides. So watching this season should have a much more linear, maybe a much more focused and coherent experience, hopefully in theory. And I just think overall everything looks great here. I know there's been a lot of online talk about the FX series Shogun being the best show this year, which is probably true. But House of the Dragon looks something even more special, and I think it will shortly take over that title of being the best show of 2024 when it arrives later on this year. So there's my overall thoughts on the recent trailer or trailers that were released for House of the Dragon Season 2. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as usual with all of these series, I will be providing both reviews for the opening episode and the finale, as well as an overview of the entire season when it all arrives, so look out for all of that within the channel. And if you have any further suggestions regarding the other movies, television series, or any other topics within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover, then also drop me a suggestion within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.